venue too far, any song at every bar, here to cover your needs. Twin Rivers music scene.
Hey y'all, welcome to the Twin Rivers Music Scene podcast with your hosts Madison
and Reed.
And welcome to episode 2.
Yeah, we're excited to show y'all our first artist interview that we recorded a couple weeks ago. We had Ryan Hunter on, who is a New Braunfels local musician. We had a sit-down convo with him talking about how he got started in music, what inspires him, upcoming projects that he's been working on. So it was a great first interview, and I think y'all are really going to like hearing his story and learning more about his music.
Yeah, I agree. It was an all-around good conversation. He's a great guy, not only obviously musically, but personally. So we were lucky to have him as our first artist, and we're excited for y'all to listen. And we love the train at Riley's. I know y'all are going to be able to hear this.
Yes.
So apologies.
It makes it more authentic because that thing passes by all the time.
Exactly. So we can mention that because I know it's in our interview too.
Yeah.
Just a little side note. Another side note. Obviously, Reed and I this is our first episode podcast. And the last 10 minutes, I guess if you're listening to this, just listening, not watching, this doesn't affect anybody. But if you're watching the video, the last 10, 12 minutes, the video cut out. So apologies.
We are learning, and it's a good thing for us to now know what to and what not to do.
Exactly.
But it doesn't change the quality of the conversation. Like, you can still hear everything very clearly, and there's still a good bit of interview during that. Like,
exactly.
A lot of good questions and answers and stuff. So we're going to figure out how we're going to edit that last portion of that. But either way, the audio will be there, and that's the important part anyway. So from now on, we got it. But we just had to make one mistake one time, and now we're good.
Exactly. I know it's hard for us not to be perfect 24/7, but, we have to mess up to keep us humble. Just kidding. But, yeah, the majority of the video is there. So you know what we look like. Close your eyes for the last 12 minutes.
Yeah, it's still a great interview. So
exactly. So before we get into that, Reed and I just kind of wanted to do a little recap of concerts we've been to for the past few weeks and our upcoming shows. So Reed, you want to go ahead and start us off?
Yeah. So since we recorded with Ryan a couple weeks ago, we both went to see John Wolfe and Clay Hollis at Green Hall for John Wolfe's Christmas show. And we had a really fun time there. We are big fans of both of those musicians, so we were excited when we saw them on the same ticket. And the holiday time in Green is just obviously so fun and very festive. And so we hopped on the opportunity to go see a holiday show, and we had a great time.
Exactly. It was a lot of fun. Clay's really great. Loved watching him. I haven't seen him perform in a while, so that was cool.
Yeah.
And then obviously John Wolfe, he's always great. So that was a little fun show for us.
Yeah.
And then we did also get to see the Drop Tines together at Cheatham, which was a little full circle moment since last episode we did talk about that was our first show together. So we went to see the Drop Tines right after our first episode came out. So that's kind of how we got to celebrate dropping our first episode of podcast. So that was fun.
True. That was a good celebration for it. And then you went and saw Mike Ryan at Green Hall before Thanksgiving.
Yes. I am obsessed. I love him. I actually have never gone to see him play live. Every time he comes, I'm busy, gone out of town, weddings, baby showers, wedding showers, all of it. So I was so happy that I got to see him. He's so great. Love all of his music. So that was really a great little kickoff to Thanksgiving.
I was excited that you finally got to see him because I feel like I've seen Mike Ryan probably like 20 times. And he's one of those artists, though, that he just brings an energy to the stage that's very unique, and it makes every show enjoyable. It's not repetitive if you've seen him like 20 times. Like, I don't know, that's just the authentic Texas country concert to me. And he's been around for a while, so.
That's true. So I was glad I finally got to see him. It was long overdue. So
in the year of 2024, you finally saw Mike Ryan.
Literally, you can check it off my bucket list.
Yeah. And then upcoming shows this weekend that we're going to. I'm going to go to Jason Boland and the Stragglers, and Ellis Bullard's opening up for them at Floors. So that'll be a good show. We saw Jason Boland and the Stragglers at the TCMA Awards, and then we also go and see Ellis Bullard whenever they're around as much as we can. So
yeah, they do play at Riley's a lot. So.
Yes. So I will fill you in on that after. I'll send you pics and videos.
Please do. I'm looking forward to it. But just a little side note, if y'all are following our Instagram or Facebook at Twin Rivers Music Scene, we have been posting a show list of all the venues around New Braunfels, just a show list so y'all can keep up to date of who's playing and
we just reposted for December yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's for a handful of venues, definitely not all of them in New Braunfels, but we try to do a lot of them that have like weekly or almost daily live music.
Yes, and if you are a venue listening and you want to be a part of the list, just shoot us a DM and we can include you.
Yeah, and then that's just a way of sharing the different venue lineups with everybody. And then also if you want to go see live music one night and you just want to see like all the venues that are offering that in that day, we're trying to make it easy to go out and find the music that you want to listen to. So.
Exactly, in one place.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's get into our interview with Ryan Hunter. Today we have a very special guest for you on the Twin Rivers podcast. From New Braunfels, Texas, the singer-songwriter draws influences from his country roots and southern rock, bringing a new flair to the Texas country music scene. He began his career in March of 2023 and is already making waves in the industry. Having opened for artists like Drake Milligan, Kody West, and Larissa Boyd, he's definitely an artist worth watching. It is an honor to introduce to you fellow Aggie alum Ryan Hunter.
Come on. Come on. I'm
Welcome.
excited to be here.
How do you feel?
Oh, this is great. This is great. I mean, we're in Riley's Tavern in the daylight. I don't think that's ever, I was just saying, I don't think I've ever been in here.
There's a
day,
verse for everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm excited. Y'all are crushing it just with what y'all are doing. I'm really excited for what this podcast is going to be. So, honored to be on it.
Yeah,
First
excited.
guest. Come on.
Yeah, first guest, first artist.
Yeah.
And so we're very lucky to have you.
Yeah, when we were thinking about who to bring on first, we were like trying to figure out people that, one, really into their music obviously right now and everything too. And then you helped us a lot with like our podcast starting journey, giving us tips and things. And also just like watching what you're doing on social media and how you're promoting yourself is just so cool and unique. And we're like, we really want to dig deeper into this and bring Ryan on.
Sweet.
So
Well, I'm honored to be here. Appreciate y'all. Yeah.
So do you want to kind of take us to the beginning of how you kind of started?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. I don't think I ever like envisioned that I was going to be doing this like full time now. Like when I got started or even long before that, like this was never really a true ambition of mine to do music in general in this way. And, but you know, I moved here to New Braunfels, in 2022, I guess summer of 2022. And I just showed up and like I've always admired this place, and I think a lot of people would say the same thing about New Braunfels, but it's like you show up and it's like there's just a different atmosphere and culture here when it comes to music and when it comes to, you know, obviously the rivers and there's just everything to do, right? It's the tourist spot. And so when I moved here and I started realizing like, man, there is like a legit music scene here. I was like,
so you didn't know that before you came here?
Well, I did. Like, I feel like I
ask.
watched music here. Yeah, like whenever I came into town, but I was just kind of like, oh, you know, there's music, you know. But when I got here and like literally every restaurant and place that I'd ever gone to, I was like, why is there live music everywhere? This is awesome. I just saw the opportunities and how rich there were. And then, you know, kind of started showing up for open mics and just getting on stage and playing and then getting to meet people. And just like the encouragement through that was just kind of like, man, okay, maybe I can do this, right? Like maybe I can just play some songs, make a little cash, you know? So initially it was kind of like, okay, I'll do this as a side gig. Like there's nothing, you know, I moved here because of a job. Like there's nothing that I really was wanting to get out of it more than that. Just to do it on the weekends and make a little extra cash and get some free drinks, you know, like that sounds like a dream, right? Right. And so that's what I did. And then just started kind of, I guess, finding a passion like through it, and started songwriting, meeting songwriters and being like, okay, well, maybe I should try this. Like everybody else is doing it. Maybe I should do it. And then, you know, just the encouragement through a bunch of people that was just like, affirming, like, dude, you're writing good music. Like, this is like you should maybe take this a little more seriously. Just kind of opened my mind up to like, okay, like I'm getting connected to like all these people. I'm getting connected in ways that I didn't think I would. Right. And then all of a sudden, you know, in December of this past year, like went and recorded my first 4 songs and got the opportunity to release all of them now. And just a lot has come just in a short period of time. I mean, like I said, it's been a year and a half since I really got started doing this. And now it feels like, I mean, now I'm doing it full time, right? I've had the opportunity to do it full time. And so it's crazy. Like, it's crazy how dreams can change so fast. And even beyond that, like, to be able to see forward, like, towards what could be and what kind of what we're shooting for now. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, you're killing it.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
And I know you mentioned about everybody kind of being supportive here, and I feel like I've kind of heard that a lot around artists kind of moving here. I feel like we mentioned that too. Rena and I always talk about that musicians are very supportive of one another.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it kind of lights everybody up when obviously someone tells you that your song is good or you got potential. So I kind of think that is a cool touch aspect of that too.
Well, you know, and it's funny because like I always feel like an industry like this, it's really easy to look at it and see like competition or something, like, and maybe even from the outside, and I could say maybe from the inside it can feel like that sometimes, but the reality of it, like what I've seen, especially in New Braunfels, is like there's a lot of people that are really excited and hungry for the same thing, and I think perspective wise, like what's cool is like we have an opportunity to like really do it together and then kind of grow our sphere of influence with one another. I mean, I think of like the video that I feel like I've been inspired by the most is I want to say it was like Cross Canadian Ragweed, Randy Rogers, Wade Bowen, Jason Bolin. They were at Smitty K's in College Station. They were all on stage singing Boys from Oklahoma, had their own verses. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this is magical. Like there's like, I don't think people take to heart like what a bunch of artists and people that are like for one another going on stage or maybe even on tour together and like getting to unfold their dream together. Like that's something that I see as a reality for New Braunfels and this music scene. And so I'm really excited to get to see that play out and, you know, getting to meet these people hand in hand with that. Yeah.
That was really well said. And like you had mentioned in the last podcast, similar to his point, that it is so universally like supportive and everything. And even from the other side, just like people that attend the shows, you can really tell when you see other musicians in the audience watching their friends play, sharing them on their stories and stuff too. I think that combination is just super cool to witness.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I know you mentioned, I saw 4 singles this year.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that. Where do you get inspiration from your songwriting?
Yeah. Oh man, that's such a hard question to answer for me because I feel like I just listen to music and like inspiration just comes on random songs sometimes or like from random things that I like listen. Like sometimes I'll just be listening to a TikTok video and like this verse pops in my head and I'm like, oh, where's my guitar? Like, let me go write this down. But no, yeah, I started writing, like I said, a little over a year ago. And I mean, at this point, like I can't tell you how many songs I've written that have just been like in a book or like on paper, just randomly littered around my house. But those 4 songs specifically that I've released, the first one I released, Longer Down, that song was inspired by a past relationship, which a lot of my music kind of has been. But it was a song that I wrote kind of with that hook in my head of just like, I know when you pulled up in my drive last night, I wasn't the first one that like you called. And so that was just like ingrained in my mind. And so it's just a matter of like kind of building around that for me. But as I started kind of piecing together the song and even the experience in the studio and the thing that I wanted to kind of encapture with those 4 songs was like, I don't want there to be any sort of exclusive sound that's like putting me in a box. I wanted to kind of capture different sounds through all 4 songs that kind of give you like a wide range of like, this is where I could go, you know, from here. And I think we did that pretty well. I think that there's, with each song, it has a different kind of flavor to it, you know. The second song released, A Different Man, like you don't really even get the full band in it until half the song or halfway through the song, and it's like got this super like weird ethereal noise, like, you know, like kind of mentioned in that bio, like ethereal noises, like there's just like it's to me it's funny, people ask me like who would you compare yourself to, or like who would you like say you sound most like, and I'm like, it's so hard for me to answer that, because I'm like, I get inspired by so many different people. I really am not trying to chase one sound, and beyond that, like I'm like, I feel like what I'm doing is a little unique in its own regard, you know. And so I'm hoping, you know, taking that kind of route gets me somewhere. Sometimes it's a risk, but you know, that's just kind of where we're at with it. So
yeah, I mean, I would agree, because I was listening on the way over here, obviously getting in the mood, but I agree, all of them sound different, and I do get a little bit of the country, the southern rock,
definitely,
and I mean, all of them are bangers. I loved all of them. They're vibey. So
I love those songs.
And honestly, I don't think you really sound like anyone too. I think it's cool that you do pull from a bunch of artists, because that kind of makes the whole originality unique.
Absolutely.
So I definitely think you capture that very well.
Yeah.
And it's fun to watch you play these songs live, with like your full band and everything. I feel like you bring this certain like energy to the stage that is so cool and like infectious. So where would you say that you pull like that energy, inspiration from when you're playing your originals, in addition to just like covers and stuff too?
So for me, it's so funny that we played a show a couple months back, the one that we opened, Drake Milligan, and it was kind of like we had stages pointing at one another, and I was like playing before and after, so it was opener and closer. Weird. Anyways, but we hired a videographer, and I remember he came up to me afterwards, and he was like, dude, like I've shoot concerts all the time. He's like, but there's something about like watching you and like the passion that I could see comes out of you for like your own music, and just like, he's like, it says something about your stage presence. And for me, it's like, I've never really like known that about myself, I guess you could say. But I think for me, it's like the best concerts that I've ever been to are ones where like guys are on stage having a good time. Like I don't want to be the guy that's known for being, and like I love Turnpike, but like Turnpike is the best example of this. Like they're and they could do that. Like their music is so good, and it's just like they're on stage picking, and it's like respect. But I'm like, man, I want to get mobile. Like I want to move around. I want there to feel like I'm able to like connect with somebody in the crowd. And so yeah, the last like full band show that I felt like we really, that one I'm talking about down in Houston, it's kind of funny. Like we had a bunch of people hop over the rail, and they were like right on the stage and throwing stuff at us. It was wild. I was like, this is crazy.
That is so fun.
Yeah, but I love it. I enjoy that. It makes it fun for me. Like I don't want to just sing songs. Like I want people to connect with me, right? And like connect in a way that's like, man, that like I want to go to a Ryan Hunter show, like, because that was fun and that was a great experience, you know. So
and when I saw you play in College Station a couple months ago, Madison wasn't there, but it was people, it was at the backyards, you know, people walking behind, and you're like engaging with the people walking behind, and it drew in so many people into the venue, and they like loved his music and everything, and it was cool to see you even like, you're playing, but you're also bringing in people, and that was really cool to witness, because I haven't seen a lot of artists do that. So. Yeah,
I mean, for me, I'm like, I know you hear it. Like, why not come in here, right? No, yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like, I like I said, I think for me, the biggest like point that I want to make from the stage is like, I want people to feel like I see them in the crowd, and like that they can have a good time and kind of let loose. And it's so hard to do that, depending on the venue and the environment. But I think that that's just kind of the big vision I have for what's to come, and kind of how this is, you know, hopefully going to progress and play out in the future. So, yeah.
Speaking of venues, what's your favorite venue that you've played? Maybe everywhere, or specifically New Braunfels?
Yeah, you can do both. One all time, one New Braunfels.
Oh man, I feel like this is a trap question, you know?
Or you could say most memorable show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Man, that's tough. I mean, that College Station show I felt like was pretty memorable at the backyard. That was like the last show that I played before I took kind of like a 3-month break. But man, it was cool, like being an Aggie and like getting to go back to College Station and get to play for a bunch of people that I know, and some that I don't, that got connected to me for the first time. I mean, no doubt the one that we just played in Houston, when people were just like up on the stage. I mean, it was like that the energy from that was pretty insane and pretty awesome. It was probably the most fun I think I've had on stage with the crowd. Here in New Braunfels, though, I'm trying to think. I mean, I love getting to play the Poorhouse. Like, I just feel like there's always people there, you know? And so it's like there's something about the environment there that's great. In terms of like kind of this area, also like True House Tavern out in Spring Branch is just like, it's a great spot. Like, it really is. There's like, once again, like always people there, but it's always like people wanting to dance even on the like concrete slab out there. And so there's so many great places here in New Braunfels though. Like, it's so hard to be able to say like, oh, there's one specific spot, you know? So
right.
Yeah. But
everywhere's fun. We love it.
Yeah.
So
seriously.
tell us more about A&M. What'd you major in? Tell us everything, kind of.
For sure.
You know, just dive into it.
For sure. So yeah, I graduated from A&M in 2022. So I'm still a young buck for sure. But for me, I studied ag leadership and development. So I was pretty passionate about agriculture growing up, and like was an FFA and raised animals and all that good stuff. And so I really wanted to go to school to be a politician, crazy enough.
That is
and
hilarious.
So, yeah. So I was like, man, I'm going to go to school and get to, you know, become a politician and represent agriculture. And very quickly I was like, screw that. I'm not made to be a politician. That's not me. Like, I could talk, but like, I'm not in any regard wanting to do this for a living. And so my minor though is in communications and journalism. And so through that, I kind of got to, I guess, see like the marketing side of everything. I mean, there's a lot of marketing implications with that, and design, and you know, and really that kind of led to a passion that I kind of found in college, which was actually video editing. Like, I was doing a bunch of video content and video editing and stuff all throughout college. And so I've kind of found myself in this place where I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to do this full time. And so music was like nowhere near my mind, like in college. Like,
okay, I was wondering, because obviously College Station is a big music scene. We mentioned that at our last podcast.
Yeah.
So you didn't play at all?
No,
not even for
in
friends?
Fact, it's funny, like, yes, there's a big music scene there, but I also feel like there really isn't like that opportunity to like jump into that music scene in College Station.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like the music scene that we see in College Station is kind of like the tour route. It's like the tour stop, you know, it's a college town that like, and man, I really hope that College Station gets to that place, because there's a lot of awesome, like up and like young musicians in College Station that I'm like, man, if there was more opportunities, this place would be awesome. But yeah, but no, video was kind of the thing. Funny enough, there was my senior year, I actually was like in a pretty big job with this video, or like this sports betting company. And so like sports betting personality. So I used to like edit videos for them. Like, I almost moved to Vegas and did that full time
awesome.
following college. And I'm glad I didn't. Lord definitely had different plans for me, but it was like, as soon as I got to New Braunfels, that was whenever I kind of was like, okay, maybe I don't love video editing that much, you know? But I always was like, I want to do something creative. Like, I'm just a creative person in general. Like, I want something that's going to feed that. And so I was kind of in limbo for like a year, and that's what kind of led to picking up the music thing and being like, okay, like I guess I could do this, you know? And so, but I love my time in College Station. Like, College Station is just such a great place. Like, it was a place that I really didn't want to leave at the time.
It was hard for us
to leave
too. Yeah.
There's so many great people there, so many great experiences to be had in College Station, and I love getting to visit. Like, when I can, I was just there this past weekend, and so when I can, man, I'll try to make the College Station, you know. But it definitely is definitely a thing that I'm like, I loved my college years, you know. I can look back on them and be like, man, that was some good times, no doubt. So
with your video editing that you mentioned, we noticed that you do a lot on social media with Instagram and TikTok. Like, your videos are great and they get a lot of great reach in promoting your music. How have you seen that promoting yourself and your music by posting consistently and everything?
It's so crazy. Like, the music scene now is so graspable for like the artist, and like being able to like make a name of yourself without having to like, you know, market your way through it kind of thing, and in these really elaborate ways, right? It's like it's like you can, like Zach Bryan kind of kicked the door open on that. Like he is the kind of the first person to like use TikTok and social media to like explode onto the music scene and like become this big thing. And so for me, as a marketing mind, as someone who's kind of like seen this from behind the curtain, like when I started really taking this seriously, I was like, okay, this is the avenue. Like this is the way to be seen by multiple people in, you know, this really specific way. And so it's, you know, one thing I'll say is like TikTok and Instagram, like those algorithms, man. I mean, that's the buzzword, algorithms. Like
tricky.
There's something else. Like you got to kind of finesse the system a little bit. And so for me, like it was just like I probably spent a year like really trying to learn the algorithm and understand, okay, like how do videos play out through this, and like how do they get seen, and the reach of them and whatnot. And so yeah, you know, there's a lot to that. I'm not going to jump into that because that's not what this is about. But I did just realize early on, like, okay, if I want my music to be heard, like this is a great way to get it out and put it in front of people. And so specifically with my first single, like, I mean, I was just uploading videos like every day for a couple months, and it was like most of it was geared to that song. And it ended up on a couple of decent sized playlists. But even better than that, like I got to talk to some really awesome people, and got somebody to invest in the project that we're kind of working on right now. And so through social media. And so that I honestly, in my opinion, like that's kind of the path forward, right? It's like venues are great, but it's like, man, if you can get people just those little 15-second clips, right? Which you want more than that, obviously, but it's like if you can get people singing your songs that found you through a random outlet, it's like that is what can kind of spur you to get into play for some really cool crowds and whatnot. So that's kind of the dream, no doubt.
Yeah, and I think that's cool that you kind of learned that early on, because it
Yeah.
is such a big social media marketing for musicians right now.
Oh, yeah, for
You
sure.
mentioned that too. Just kind of when we were in college, it was up and coming, but TikTok
Yeah.
has taken off
Oh,
for
yeah.
artists.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, it's if you are not on TikTok right now as an artist,
What are you
or
doing?
Instagram, I would say, what are you doing? But I'm just like, you're missing out for sure on a really critical piece. And it's hard. Like it's not an easy thing to learn. Like, you know, and I think that I'm still like learning from it and figuring out what works, what doesn't. But it's, you know, the biggest thing with it is it's work. Like you gotta like really, like, especially if you're trying to push something, like you gotta really, really, really put the effort and time into like posting videos after videos after videos. So yeah, it's you know, I enjoy it. Like obviously that's one of the things that I feel like has awarded me some small term success, obviously, but at the same time, like, you know, that's kind of the path forward, and this is kind of where we're running with. So
yeah, and it's cool that you can blend your passion for music and then marketing in general too,
Yeah.
and they go so hand in hand.
Oh,
and
for
so
sure.
it's like an organic combination.
Definitely.
And I know that you have mentioned, just kind of like flip a little of a topic, but going into being a full-time musician, how was your decision going into that? Like, what mindset were you in, and like your emotions around it, and how has it been for you?
Oh man,
since
it
that
is.
switch?
It's crazy. Like I would not have imagined that it would have happened in the timeline that it did, to be completely honest. And there was just a couple of doors that just opened up that kind of pointed to like, okay, either you kind of jump through this hoop and like really grind right now, or, you know, we just prolong this a little bit more and let it bleed a little bit. And so it's definitely a risk. Like it's definitely one of those things that I'm like, was that the right decision? I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. But at the same time, I'm like, I just know that, like, you know, kind of the mentality that I've been in is like, well, this is probably the only time I'll be broke in my life like this. So, you know, like whether I'm doing music or not, like this is the brokest I'll ever be. So I was just like, you know what, let's go for it. And what's crazy is like my family has like been really supportive of me in that, which has been really shocking, to be honest with you. But like my parents have just supported me. I mean, they're the ones that kind of pitched the idea. My dad, out of all people, was like, have you thought about going full time? And I'm like, are you crazy? Like, like you really, that's a good idea. But yeah, I mean, and so it's, I mean, I'll say this much. It is a hustle, like no doubt. Like it is not glitz and glamour by any means. I think that's the hard truth and reality to that. But I think for me, like the encouraging thing is, you know, there's just, I feel like I'm in this patience bubble right now where it's like, I could see the path forward. Like I could see where we're headed and what I'm doing and the work I'm putting in, but it's like the results are not, you know, here right now. Like it's not the instant gratification kind of thing. It's like the building blocks to seeing the bigger picture, right? And so I think for myself, I'm putting myself in this position right now where I'm like, okay, I gotta be patient. Like I have to recognize there's a process to this, and that this just takes time, and you know, it's something's going to come from this, you know, just if I continue to put the work in. And so yeah, it's the emotional piece of this is for sure like both ends of the spectrum, you know. I think I saw a post the other day that was like small business owners, so this is more specific to that, but even for artists, it's like you'll wake up some mornings and you'll feel like you're on top of the world and trying to question how the heck am I doing this for a living? And then some mornings you'll wake up and be like, where the heck am I? Why am I doing this? You know, it's like it's the back and forth always. And so it's definitely a battle, like trying to do this, I guess, but I'm so grateful for it. And man, I'm living the dream. You know, that's part of it. So
that's
yeah.
awesome. Well, if it makes you feel better, I think about that about my life all the time too.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a
it.
musician, so it's just life, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you became obviously full time,
Yeah.
who did anybody kind of help you? Like, who kind of pushed you?
Yeah. Man.
Who did you meet?
Well, so kind of one of the first people I met here in town that was kind of somewhat attached to the music industry was my buddy Davin Klein. Him and I started when we started back in March of 2023. We started as like a little duo act, and so it was just kind of funny. I like went to him and was like, "Hey, I'm kind of interested in doing this." And he's like, "Dude, let's do it. Like, let's just go in together and do something." And it was like a perfect kind of match. Like, we didn't realize it would be that way, but it was like being able to, you know, like our harmonies worked perfectly, like even just stage presence, just how we fed off one another, like it worked out in a great way. And honestly, I think like that duo act got a bunch of shows, but for us, like the name of that, it was called Ruckel Refuge. And obviously that was kind of a play to Ruckel Road, but it was like, we wanted to be just like a new Braunfels cover act. Right. And that would be kind of the ceiling. And then it was like our ambitions just like wildly opened up, and like Davin is like now he's like producing projects in the studio, and like he's become an integral part of like kind of the business side of a lot of people's projects here in town, and even for me. And so but it was like as soon as I started songwriting, and like once I was like ready to go and record, I remember we had a conversation outside the villa one night in Green, and I mean we were literally sitting on the back of a truck bed, and I was like, dude, I want to record like now. I was like, let's go do this. And he's like, dude, I don't really want to be a frontman. I see something bigger for that, and so like in you. And so he really pushed me and encouraged me of like, dude, I think you just need to run for it and like go for it. And so man, a lot of credit to Davin. Like he's been a huge part of this.
Davin.
Yeah, shout out Davin. Thanks, dude. But yeah, and then there's like other people that I feel like, you know, like I said earlier, like it's pretty magical. Like the people that I've gotten to meet that live here in this town that are also in the same boat, doing the same things. And see, even like the timelines, like there's just like a lot of us that are kind of like progressing through the timeline of this kind of at the same time, which is neat. Like we're all like recording music now, which like a year and a half ago, like we were just playing open mics, you know. It's like it's just cool to be able to like look at all these people and kind of rub shoulders with everybody, and it's like we're all motivating each other with like great intentions, like supporting one another in awesome ways. And so finding community in that has just been really neat. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Also, you mentioned that you're working on a project. Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I'm really excited. Like I said earlier, I got reached out to after releasing that first single for people to come in and kind of step alongside me in funding this project, and so I'm really grateful for that. And so we got that deal kind of put together and recorded this EP, my debut EP that's going to be coming out in the spring, like early part of next year. But yeah, we recorded back in April. We're still kind of like putting the finishing touches. We've spent so much time on this, it's like not even funny. But it's really cool. I recorded it at Yellow Dog Studios in San Marcos. And so we had Adam Oder producing it. Casey Johns is the mix engineer for it, and Ethan Lugbauer, the studio sound engineer, but we just the team, like it's fascinating to me, like now that I'm not just recording singles, but I recorded a project, just like the amount of people and time and effort it really takes to put out something that, you know, like you're really proud of. And so I'm just like grateful for the team that we put together. Like it's just been really cool to see this all form together. And now that we're like right at the finish line, about to cross it, like it's been awesome to see. So it was funny. I was counting the other day. I was like, man, there's 20 people like legit that were involved in this project. And so, it's cool to be able to look at that and to recognize that it's like, man, we're doing something pretty big, which is really exciting. And so that record is gonna be 7 songs. So that's gonna be coming out pretty soon. It's gonna be called Crooked Love.
Nice. Love that name.
Yeah. So whole project kind of wraps around kind of like toxic relationships as like the overarching theme.
Everyone can relate. I feel like and it's cool to have a whole album of it. Whoever's going through it.
Right. And and it's funny because it's like it kind of journeys through like from start to finish of like one overreaching story, which is really neat. And they all kind of tie in each other one way or the other, like the way the track list is built out and everything. And so so it's like, yeah, both sides are never innocent in a toxic relationship. And so it speaks very clearly to both of them. And just the bad habits that, you know, me or whoever, if you find yourself in that story, like guys find themselves in, and then even for girls and how it just blows up in your face at the end of the day. So it's Crooked Love.
It'll be a whole like self-healing thing listening to it from start to finish.
Yeah, and it's like, man, we got some sad, slow songs, we got some angry songs, we got some like high energy, like this is gonna be like my sound, which is really like I love about it. Like we are just like, this is for me, this is like where I'm like, okay, this is what I want. Ryan Hunter, like when you hear a song, you can very easily identify, yeah, that's gonna be a Ryan Hunter song in the future. So I'm excited. This project we put, like I said, a lot of time and effort into it, and we're getting close to putting it out. So it's really, really, really exciting. So first single should be like January. So
awesome.
Yeah.
We're super excited for you, and we're really looking forward to like hearing it and watching your whole journey, and then getting to sit down and talk to you more and like learn your whole process in the music industry and your experience. Like it's been super awesome to be able to see different sides of it.
Definitely.
So
yeah, thanks for coming. So you want to close us off, Reed?
Yeah, sure. So at the end of the episodes, you just kind of want to touch base and see kind of who you're listening to right now, what music you've got, and then also any shows that you have coming up in the next couple of weeks that people can see.
I should have been prepared.
No, we can go first if you want us to go first.
Sure, yeah, y'all go first. Let me no, I'm just kidding. It's fine.
Yeah, we can go music right now. Are we wanting to do like local or just in general? Oh yeah. So Rob Linus and Silverado just released a song together, which I've been listening to all morning, like on repeat. And Rob is a Canyon Lake local now, so even though he's like touring around and stuff. So yeah, that's such a good song. It's a cover. I don't know who the like original song is by, but it's a really good one. So y'all go listen to it. It's about the road, like musicians being on the road and the different emotions that go along with that. So
it is really good. So you're gonna have to listen to it.
Okay. I'll listen.
Mine probably will be JP McCabe.
Yeah, dude.
Shout out to him. He released 3 singles. They're all so good. I honestly don't even know which one's my favorite.
I think Honey That's Okay is my favorite.
Okay, I knew you were gonna say that. That's kind of why I looked at you. That one's actually really good. Yeah. But I've been honestly just on repeat listening to him. One of my favorite voices in New Braunfels.
Yeah,
so
definitely. Yeah, I've been listening to That's the Way Things Go. So like bangers of songs. I don't know. I feel like I'm so, like I said earlier, like I just listen to so many different people and so many different things.
And you can just name artists
and
too.
I love getting to hear like the new stuff that comes out. So it's funny, I actually hadn't even heard it yet, because Adam, the guy that produced this EP, he produced that song, funny enough. So
I saw that.
Yeah. And so the song that I found recently that I'm like, dude, I can listen to this for hours is One Hell of a Woman, Nolene Hoffman.
Love her.
Dude, that song, it's so good. So I have an appreciation for like people that record to tape too, and like that song has tape written all over it, which is really cool. So but yeah, I feel like I'm all over the place. I always keep up with like the guys that are, you know, doing it big these days, like Ty Myers and Hudson Westbrook. Like those guys are crushing it, and
They are.
Yeah,
And honestly, it's a good example when we were talking about kind of social media
Oh,
and all
yeah.
that stuff,
For
how
sure.
they blew up quick because of it.
right. And you know, for me, like I'll say this just as a quick little thing. Like I'm like, if for any like artist, like the thing I feel like that's work for me is like to study like whoever you like are looking at and saying like, okay, they're at the place I want to be, like just looking back to their very beginning and like understanding how they got to that place, right? Because it's not, you know, there's not one right way to do anything, right? But I think at the same time, like there's something to learn from other people that have been doing it, right? And so
Very true.
but yeah, no, those guys are crushing it, and they've got good music, so like it makes sense. But yeah, no doubt.
Facts.
Awesome.
Facts.
So upcoming shows in the next couple weeks that people can catch you at.
Let's pull up the calendar.
Let's pull it up.
Let's pull up the calendar.
Let's see.
When is this? This is coming out in like a week, right? So maybe I shouldn't say this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be about
Okay.
a week.
Okay.
So end of November, early December.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. December, man, honestly, my schedule is like kind of drying up like a lot right now. I know I've got a date. There's a new spot out in Shirts called Shirts Creek Beer Garden. That is going to be towards the end of December. So, yeah, right now I don't really have a whole lot of shows coming up that have popped up. So, I mean, if you're listening to this and you're a venue, please reach out and book me. Like, I'm asking for help here. Please.
It's like, hello, this is my pitch
Like, this,
to you.
I'm actually realizing I'm in a bad spot. No, just kidding.
Well, where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, you
Give
can
them a handle.
For sure. Instagram, you can find me at Ryan Hunter Band, and same with Facebook. TikTok, if you want to go look there, is Ryan Hunter Music. So a little switch up there. And then, yeah, you can find my music on all platforms, which is really exciting. So,
Awesome.
and we got a YouTube page going now. It's like a little
Got it
secret,
all.
but go check that out. Ryan Hunter.
Be one of the first.
You
to
can find all the like the live show kind of stuff there. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And you said you might have some merch coming up to
Yeah,
do?
yeah.
Okay,
Stay tuned for that.
awesome.
We've got something cooking up that's going to be kind of lateral with the music, and I can't say anything about it, but we've got a really crazy, wild idea that we're probably going to do in February. That'll be like a 2-month kind of thing. So
Okay, well,
Stay tuned.
stay
for
tuned.
February.
There is a lot on the horizon that is
Yes.
just cooking up right now. So yeah.
Well, exciting
Awesome.
stuff. Well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
joining us as our
Absolutely.
first guest.
Yeah.
This is the perfect
this is
first
awesome.
guest.
You
This was
kidding
so
me?
fun.
I know. I
Yeah.
loved it. I
Yeah.
really
This is
enjoyed
great.
it. It was
I loved it
awesome
too.
getting. I
It
think
was
my
fun.
favorite part was that you wanted to be a politician. So
Yeah, you heard it.
that's my takeaway.
maybe I still will. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, musicians go
There's
be
still
politicians
time.
sometimes.
True.
No,
Advocate for yourself or
Yeah.
something.
never. Vote for me 2042.
All right. Well, this is again the Twin Rivers Music Scene Podcast with your
Yes.
host Madison.
And Reed. And this is our first guest, Ryan Hunter.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
thank y'all.
again.
All
It was
right.
so fun.
Until next time.
Yeah.
Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.
No venue too far, any song at every bar. Here to cover your needs. Twin Rivers Music Scene.